Showtime. All right, guys, we are live here, and this is the Maniac Remake live stream. And I have here Mr. Derek's Horror Corner. Welcome, Derek.
Hey, thanks for having me on again. I really enjoyed when we did the original Maniac a month or two ago. That was a lot of fun.
Me too. That was a blast. And we both
I actually watched this one the other day to refresh my memory more. I watched it, I think it was yesterday, and I think I loved it each time I watched it. So this will be like my third viewing right here.
Nice. Oh, good. This should be fun then. Oh, we got Chucky doll in the house. He says Maniac 2012. I love it better than the original. Wow.
Let's do that when we get to the end, when the movie's over. Let's do like an original versus remake, like I do sometimes.
Oh yeah, you want to do
we'll
that?
do like we'll do the criteria and everything like once the movie's over. But I will say this: I think both of them are like A+ movies. Like when I watch the remake, I'm convinced this movie's an A+ movie, and I love it.
Yeah, I completely agree. I love both. So, do you have your movie in the disc player ready to go?
Yep, I got everything ready before I went to go eat, so I'm ready. I got it paused and ready to go.
Let me bring it up first before I.
Do you have the
So
Blu-ray?
it's the DVD actually.
Yeah, I got. This is what I got right here. I actually got it for a really good price too. I forget what it was, but I want to say I got it for less than $15. It was definitely a steal.
That's a good deal.
Yeah, it's an outstanding movie.
Absolutely. So,
Did,
want to hit play?
I'm ready. To
All right. Hit and
I
play.
played it.
What movie is this?
The Maniac remake that I watched the other day. Just go on. Okay. My wife
Hello.
hates slasher.
Oh, she hates slasher movies.
Yes. She was not happy.
Well, this is
She came in,
definitely
was
a
watching it
slasher
for a
movie.
minute, and she's like, "I'm getting out of here."
There's no
I thought I
question
was
about.
ready to go, but I had it on the ad still.
So you're at the point where he's watching now where the cab is, and he's looking at the cab and
Hold
the
on.
prostitutes.
Pause it for a second so I don't get behind. I thought movie, but I was stupid 8 ads that they have
Oh, okay.
on this Blu-ray.
So
You're
tell me
where
when you
he's
get to right.
okay. I'm there.
Okay. Now that dude's walking up to the girl, trying to talk to her.
Yeah. Such a like who walks up and randomly grabs a girl like that? What a jerk.
I know, right? Couldn't be a little more subtle about it.
And I don't blame her for getting creeped out and leaving.
And guess who's following her?
And then like his dialogue, it's implied that maybe he's watching her like because he doesn't follow her direct to her house and he's like, I live or something like that. So like he's been watching this girl for a little while, I think.
Yeah, I think so. Oh, she tripped.
I'm posting on the links on social media so every channel knows to come over here.
Good. The ending was
Lucky
very
Doll got some
disturbing, like you
good
said.
uh, stuff going on in the comment section.
That's a great shot when you see his face in the rear view.
Yeah, because it's kind of cool because you really only get to see his face like when he's looking in a mirror or something. So
Yeah, that's one of the things I think makes
and I
this
like
one different. You know.
yeah because the other one the original and this is just makes it different than almost any movie on just the
Yeah.
original is it's like first person from the killer's perspective the whole movie. You don't really ever see a
Yeah.
movie where like the killers are and it's in first person. That's crazy.
I know. You never see that.
One thing I noticed that I really liked when I was rewatching it the other day is it all really like take the time and build the suspense and tension. For like a modern day horror movie, they really do a good job with like suspense and tension in this movie.
Oh yeah, I completely agree.
How many times have you seen this one, Sean?
I think this might be the fourth time.
Okay, so you've seen it about the same amount of times as me. How did you hear about this one?
Through other horror YouTubers, I think I've seen people do reviews on it and stuff. I mean, actually, when I first heard about it, I saw Elijah Wood on Howard Stern, believe it or not.
Did you see the original or this one first?
Oh, I seen the original way before. I'd say the original way long back.
It was pretty close to the same time, but I'm pretty sure I actually saw the remake first. And then it was so good, and then people were talking about how great the original was. Then, like a month later, I think I watched the original. Either way, it was within a month. I saw both because people kept talking about how great they were on YouTube.
I love you, Chucky doll, but I'm gonna have to disagree with you on all those choices. He said originals that are better than remakes: Dawn of the Dead, Day of the Dead, My Bloody Valentine, Nightmare on Elm Street.
No, I think he's saying the originals are better than the
The
remakes.
originals are better than the okay, I agree.
I think the Dawn of the Dead remake is really good, though. It's it's a really good remake. I haven't seen the Day of the Dead remake. The My Bloody Valentine remake, it's good, but not as good as the original.
Oh, we're getting to the big kill here.
It kind of surprised me, how this happened. Like the first time I watched the movie, that like he just walks up behind her and then just stabs her.
Oh,
Like it's pretty crazy.
oh. Really creepy too, how he like touches her face afterward.
That's cool. Such a
Oh,
cool kill.
this is brutal. There goes the
Yeah,
scalp.
all the scalpings are
Uh,
brutal. I think there's a few moments in this movie where you can kind of tell they did CG, but for the most part, I think the effects look really.
yeah, I'd say so for the most part. Yeah, there was a couple scenes where you're like, that's probably CG.
But for a modern day movie, they really put good care into the special effects, which is something you don't normally see.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, so that was quite a while ago when I saw Elijah Wood was on Howard Stern and he was talking about making Maniac and stuff. And I was like, wow, him and he's playing the character?
Yeah, you would think this would be a miscast, but it's not. Like he absolutely kills the role.
Go ahead, sorry.
Sorry. Hold on. I'm turning my volume down so I can be active on the chat too. I like how they kind of modernize it too. Like they got the whole like internet dating thing on here too.
Yes, right now, yeah.
I, I think the true brilliance of this movie, and this is what every remake should try to do, but they fail to do it. This movie is faithful to the original, but it doesn't follow it too closely, so you can't predict always what's going to happen. My problem with a
Yeah,
lot of remakes is they follow the original too closely, then you can predict everything that's going to happen and it makes it boring, you know?
exactly. Yeah, not everything happens the same.
Because they don't even have too much that they borrow from the original. Like they have the scene where he chokes the girl, but it's way different, and they have the
Yeah,
scene where he stalks the girl on the subway, but it's way different than it was in the other one. The ending is kind of the ending, but it does a couple things different. I'm sure we'll talk about it when we get there.
and then this girl right here, the that he picks up through the online dating is basically supposed to be like the prostitute that he picks up at the towards the beginning
Yeah,
of the original, but it happens differently.
yeah, because she gets the choking death, but it doesn't go quite the same way.
Right.
Did you catch Did you catch the Easter egg with the original when they're talking?
No, what no, how
Because
does it go?
she's like they're talking, and I forget the exact quotes, but then she's basically like, "I was expecting you to look like blank, blank, blank," and she describes what Frank looks like in the original, like some fat guy with like long curly hair and stuff. It's
Like
really funny. Like if you listen closely, I noticed it the first time, but I definitely noticed it on rewatch that it definitely they were alluding to the original movie there. So I thought that was really smart too. Hey Corey, what's up?
what's up, Corey from CDR Movie Reviews in the house?
Yeah, we're doing it on Sean's channel. We're talking about the Maniac remake. Corey, you've seen this one, haven't you?
She was expecting some Ron Jeremy looking dude.
Yeah, which is kind of how Frank looks in the original.
Yeah. I like this scene where when he's looking at her, he sees her bleeding from her head, you know. It's pretty messed up.
Yeah.
She's like smiling, laughing
Oh, I
with
didn't.
blood pouring
How
down
did I
her head.
not catch that? I didn't catch that yesterday. How did I miss that?
That's cool, isn't
Like
it?
it's. I don't know. I must have looked at my phone for a second when I was watching that. I do not remember seeing that yesterday though. That's crazy.
Yeah. That's something we both missed.
That's why you should always give a movie. I always try to give a movie at least two or more watches, even if I don't like it the first time. If it's a horror movie, because you could pick up on a lot of things you didn't pick up on the first time. And there's been times where I've changed my mind on a movie after a second viewing.
Yeah, sometimes you do.
A lot of times there'll be a movie I don't like, I like more. Usually I won't like a movie and then watch it again and then not like it. It usually doesn't work that way for me.
Corey says, "Hell yeah, I love it."
Yeah, it's so cool because like in Halloween, you get POV shots sometimes, but like this movie's done entirely in POV, which is just so cool.
I know. Yeah, to me, that's the main. That's what I love about it because it distinguishes itself from the original that way.
Yeah, and the original's still cool because in its own right, the original focuses on the killer from third person, which very few movies do as well, other than like Silent Night, Deadly Night, or maybe a couple other movies. Like most movies focus on the victims and not the killer. So anytime a
Yeah,
movie is from the killer's perspective, it's always really interesting.
right. And you really get
One of
inside
my
his head.
I'm gonna throw a really random fact out here that I noticed the other day. So the original's in the '80s, and this one's in the 2000s. This one has a lot more nudity than the original. Like they
Yeah,
show
that's
like
true.
three girls naked in this. No, because his mom in the flashback too. I bet you will count. I think four girls naked in this movie. The original had any nudity because the prostitute didn't take her top off or anything. I don't think anybody got nude in the original unless I'm forgetting.
The girl in the bathtub, I think. The bathtub
Oh
scene.
yeah, but that was just like for a second. Like, yeah,
Yeah,
you're right. It was her, but they barely showed her. It was like just a glimpse. Like
yeah,
this one, they have pretty. Almost every girl he kills, you get to see her naked, pretty
pretty much.
much, except for the girl at the beginning. Because this girl here, and then when he's peeking in the window, he sees like the ballet dancer or whatever she is. He sees her naked. Then the older woman in the bathtub, and then his mom in the flashback. Well, not naked, but topless.
Now, did you notice the
This girl's got
song
a
that they
crazy amount of tattoos.
Did you notice the song they're playing in this scene is the same from Buffalo Bill and Silence of the Lambs? You know, when he's doing the dance thing.
Oh, yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, that scene from Silence of the Lambs where he tucks it in and stuff, it's one of
Yeah,
just, oh my God, that scene is so, because I hadn't seen it in like 10 years and I rewatched it like 2 or 3 months ago. And I was like, oh my God, messed up.
it really is.
And this seems really weird because, like, she usually in these kind of situations, it's the guy being pushy, but like she's being the aggressive one, like trying to get him to have sex with her and stuff. Like, she's like really aggressive.
And then he starts choking her and stuff. But she's like, "You like it rough, huh?"
Yeah,
Yeah,
you can tell this girl's into some weird stuff with all her
yeah,
tattoos and some of her dialogue and stuff.
yeah. She's a freak.
Well, like she's supposed to mirror the prostitute character, basically, so she's definitely got to be a freak.
Chucky Doll says the scene where Elijah Wood follows the girl in the parking lot all the way, how he kills her while no one there. That's why you show check your back and look around in case you're being followed. Yeah, of course.
Is he talking about the girl in the subway that he
Yeah,
falls
right.
into
Yeah,
like the parking area and cuts her Achilles?
right,
My wife saw that and she was like blown away. I had to look away. We'll talk about that more when we get there. But that
right.
when he cuts that Achilles, I have to look away, and it's so like it just makes me cringe. And it's so hard for a movie to have that effect on me. Like I love my gore, and I'm so used to stuff. Like it's really hard for a movie to make me cringe. So I definitely got to give it an A+ there.
So this part here is similar to the original, very brutal. When he strangles her.
And just like we said when we talked about the original, I like that it doesn't just take 10 seconds, like in a lot of movies. He chokes her for 10 seconds and she's dead. Like it actually takes a while.
Right.
Like that's something a lot of movies do that annoy me. Like Not that I know exactly how real it is when someone dies, but like someone people die unrealistically fast in a lot of horror movies.
Hmm. I like how they show the overhead shots from the looking down on the. Oh boy, here he goes
I
with
don't know
the.
who did the cinematography in this one, but whoever did the cinematography in this movie was really skilled. Like this has some of like the better cinematography, especially in like a modern day movie. They don't ever do cinematography this good in modern movies usually.
Yeah. Oof, that's nasty. Pulling that
That's
skin
something it
back.
kind of has on the that's something it kind of has on the original because I think in the original I don't think they really showed much of like the scalping.
Yeah, they
That
don't
I think
show
the
him
maybe
pull the scalp completely back like this one, you know?
I think they show him start to cut into a girl's head a couple of times in the original, but like
Yeah.
they don't show everything like this movie shows everything.
This part really freaks me out when he like is washing his hands with Brillo pads. I'm like, oh, that's gotta hurt.
Oh yeah. One scene I thought was really interesting, and I noticed it more the second time I watched it than the first time. There's a scene where he's looking at himself in the mirror, and you know how like he imagines himself as like a mannequin sometimes when he's doing
Yeah.
stuff in this movie. Well, there's one scene. It's one of the first flashbacks. He looks in the mirror, and instead of seeing his dick, he's just got nothing down
Yeah.
there. Like he's just like a blank mannequin down there. And I thought that was hard because he's kind of like it seems like they don't really explain his backstory 100%. But I think it's kind of like Norman Bates because of like what his mom did to him. He can't have
Hmm.
like a healthy sexual relationship. Like every time he gets put in a sexual situation, like he snaps is what seems like happening. So he has some kind of issue with his sexuality psychologically, and then when he looks in the mirror, there's nothing down there. I thought that
Yeah.
that was really
Yeah.
good symbolic filmmaking there.
It's a good point. Well, they definitely had that element to the original too with his mother, that was similar to Psycho in a way.
Yeah, they didn't really get into his backstory a lot. That's one thing, and I'm sure we'll talk about it more when we get to the flashbacks. I feel like this movie does a better job at fleshing out his character than the original did, but yet not over explaining things too. Like I feel like they give you just enough backstory to kind of understand things in this one without over explaining it.
Yeah, true.
Because you can tell in both versions his mom just the way his mom raised him just fucked him up. But like some of the flashbacks in this movie are so messed up. Like you hate his mom so much.
Oh, yeah. Another thing I
Another
liked
thing I
in this.
like. No, you go ahead. You first. Maybe we'll say the same thing.
No, I was gonna say another thing I liked about this is when they show the mannequins and with the scalps on their heads and the bleeding, and they show flies around it. Because yeah, that's what would happen in real life, you're dealing with corroding flesh, and he has to spray it
Yeah,
out.
that's something I thought of when I watched it the other day too, because like that would attract bugs and flies and stuff, but that
Mhm.
never happened in the original. So they paid nice attention on the mannequins. What I was going to say I like that it explained how the reason he has the mannequins makes sense. Because one thing I always find myself asking in the original is like, how is he getting all these mannequins, and why does he have all these mannequins in the original movie? But it makes sense because that's like part of his family business.
Right.
So it makes sense he would have them.
And here we go with the flashbacks of his mom.
First of many.
Hmm.
Well, not many, but several.
I forget, like, how long is this movie?
It's not super long. I think it's about an hour and a half. Let me
Yeah.
ch- let me check my case. Hey, yeah, it's only 89 minutes, so good pacing. Like,
Oh,
I thought the pacing in this movie was phenomenal when I watched it the other day. I was literally not bored for a second. But I mean, you can say that about the original too. I think both of them have really, really good pacing. Because you know me, that's one of the first things for lack of gore and bad pacing. Those are two nitpicks for me whenever I watch movies.
yeah. Well, that's just like most of the 80s slashers were like an hour and a half. You never seen a slasher that was like 2 hours.
Yeah, that's one thing I just appreciate about like 80s horror movies so much. That's why I've always loved the Friday 13th franchise is it just gets right to the point and it doesn't waste a lot of time with like talking and backstory and all that stuff.
So what would you how would you compare the way her character is handled to the original the photographer slash artist girl that he kind of falls for?
Um, yeah, I'll tell you what I think. Tell me what you think. I think she's more developed in this movie than in the original, but I think I like the girl in the original more. I don't know, like she's dating like that black guy, and you can tell like he's a total douche, and then like
Yeah.
she doesn't really tell him that she has a boyfriend, so I feel like she kind of leads him on some. There's just a few moments with her character that I just don't like. She's a little bit unlike, not like extremely, but a little bit. But like, I always liked the girl in the original. Like, there was never any flaws with her performance. What do you think?
I totally agree.
I totally agree.
Yeah, like you said, she's not as likable as Carolyn Monroe was in the original.
She's not bad. It's little small things. Like she's taking pictures of his business before he's open and she gets kind of nosy and she pries on stuff like when she wants to go look in his back room and stuff. Like there's just little things like that just I don't hate her, but like I don't really feel sad when she dies later either. Like,
She didn't have any remorse when she died.
I wouldn't say that, but like I didn't feel as sad as I should have felt. Like it should be a really heartbreaking moment when like the main girl dies. She would have worn her seatbelt.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty sure she wasn't wearing her seatbelt because she flies out of the car. If you're wearing your seatbelt, that wouldn't happen. Although she only had like 2 seconds to get her seatbelt on.
And that's another thing that didn't happen in the original. She didn't die in the
Yep, we'll
original.
talk about it when we get We'll talk about it when we get there, but
Right.
I actually like how the ending is handled more in this movie than in the original. And I thought that the first time I watched it, and I definitely think that after I rewatched them both recently, I think this movie actually does the ending better. But we'll talk more about that when we get there.
Also, in this movie, his feelings aren't showing back the way he feels about her.
Yeah, she kind of leads him on a
Yeah.
little bit. Because I feel like there's never really a point where like he gets out of the friend zone in
Yeah.
this one. But I feel like in the original, like she clearly had like a genuine interest in him, and I like their relationship better in the original than I did in this one.
Yeah, they had a full-blown relationship in the original.
Yeah, and like she cared about him and stuff. Went
Yeah,
to dinner with him. Then she goes with him to the graveyard, and then that's where he freaks out in the original movie.
right. Big mistake giving him your number, girl.
He would have stalked her and found her anyway, knowing
Yeah,
him. So,
true.
do you know what I watched for the first time today? I'm gonna be reviewing it next week. I watched the original Land of the Dead for the
Mhm.
first time.
Yeah,
I actually liked it. I actually liked it a lot. Good things about it, but
really.
I thought it was really solid. I thought it had some nice action and some cool moments and stuff in it. So I thought it was pretty cool. It's probably my least favorite of the Dead trilogy, but I think it was a really solid movie. Like I liked it. I liked it a lot.
Do you like it better than the other ones, like Diary of the Dead and the what was it,
I haven't
Survivor?
seen those. I
Yeah.
plan to try to avoid those if I can, but I'm sure one of these days I'll end up in it.
You're
I've just
probably
heard
best
such
avoiding them.
bad things about them.
I wouldn't
Do you
rush
like
to
either
go
of them,
see it.
or are they bad as everyone says?
Yeah.
They're bad.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, I've seen some cool new movies this week because I've watched. I got my Bride of Reanimator, and then Land of the Dead will be my two reviews for next week. Plus, I'll have the March Madness bracket still.
Nice.
I'm ready to see your last round here soon.
I had a lot of fun doing that. That was a really cool idea you came up with.
Yeah, I'm gonna do it like every year in March. I already know what next year's theme is gonna be. Next year's theme is just gonna be slashers only. So like there won't be like supernatural horror movies and like monster movies and stuff like that. I think I
That's gonna
could
be
find.
next that's gonna be next year's?
Yep, and I'm gonna do a good mix of like several sequels from like the major franchises, but also mix in good standalone slashers too. So it's going to be really fun. I need to see. I need to see. No, there's a lot of good '80s slashers that I haven't seen yet. Like there's a lot of different ones that are on my list.
Like random shit like graduation day.
Yeah, like let me. I'll have on my list that I haven't seen. Might surprise you. Let's see. Let's see. Bay of Blood. Haven't seen that yet. Uh, Blood Diner. Christmas Evil. That's a Christmas themed one.
Good one.
Final Exam, haven't seen that yet. Graduation Day, haven't seen that one yet. Hell Night, I believe, is a slash. It's a good movie either way. I've wrote it down. I haven't seen it yet. I'm pretty sure Hell Night's a slasher. I can't remember exactly what it's about. Intruder.
Mhm.
Um, I don't know if they classify as slashers, but I still need to see the Maniac cop movies.
Oh, yeah, Hell Night is
Slaughter
definitely,
High, definitely a slasher.
yeah.
Yeah, I've heard it's really good from people. It just takes me a while to get around to stuff. Slaughter High, Splatter University, the Stepfather movies, The Dorm That Dripped Blood, The Initiation. That's one that I've heard is really good, but I haven't seen yet. Tourist Trap. Then there's probably others that I can't remember that I need to see.
A couple of those
So
I haven't
hopefully that'll
seen. I
give me
haven't seen
time
them.
to see that. As I grew up on like the major franchises, so I didn't start watching a lot of the standalone slashers until I had my YouTube channel, and so I've seen a lot, but there's still a lot more left to see. I'm always getting good recommends from all the people's channels that I watch. I probably watch when I try to find the time. There's probably like 20 channels that I watch regularly. Because yeah, I make videos, but I'm really into watching other people's too. Like I was watching people's videos on YouTube way before I was making them myself, and I'm sure it was the same way for you.
Yeah. Creepy watching them
So here
through
we
the
go. See,
blinds, watching the show.
they have a really good scene here in a minute where she sees him, and then her friend like jump scares her. Like
Yeah, you think,
it's a
yeah,
really good moment.
she's gonna
But
find
see,
him.
like every girl he kills, you see her topless, like we talked about earlier. Every girl he kills, you see her topless, basically. Yeah, see, like she's about to see him, and then her friend comes up and scares her.
Yeah,
Oh my god, such a good moment.
that's good
Like the
suspense.
directing and the cinematography is just so good in this movie.
He's like, who's it gonna be next?
And I would guess this is the equivalent of like the nurse kill from the original, because this is the girl like he follows through the subway and stuff. But see, it
Yeah,
doesn't exactly mirror the original, which I love. Too many remakes try to copy the original too closely, and it's annoying.
but then they change the scene, and then she ends up in a parking lot.
So I know it's so smart. Like they don't just do. You can't predict what's going to happen if you've seen the original first because it doesn't follow it that closely.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm telling you, that's how to do a remake. This is how to do a remake right here. I think this is my favorite remake of all time. What do you think?
It's definitely up there.
What are some other remakes that you really enjoy a lot?
Well, an obvious one would be The Thing, John Carpenter.
No, I don't even count that. Like I don't really count the 80s remakes like The Fly and The Thing and what's the other one? The Blob. Like I don't really count those because they're technically remakes, but it's not like it's a remake of like black and white movies and stuff. So yeah, obviously The Thing. You'll see how far The Thing goes in my tournament. It's gonna go pretty far. So
Nice.
I still haven't reviewed that yet. When this tournament's over, I'm going to review The Thing next month.
Oh, you
That is
gotta.
just man, that is a masterpiece right there. I think it's my favorite John Carpenter movie. Even
Oh.
over barely over Halloween. Like The Thing is so good. Oh my god. Trying to think of other remakes. The Evil Dead remake, that's another one that I really enjoy a lot.
Yeah.
You like that one?
Yeah,
What
it's good.
else?
Definitely good.
Not which one did you say?
I like this part. He's like, "What the f?" Like looking across the hall.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know why her acting, it's not bad, but it just makes me laugh. She's like, what the hell, man? That we're gonna get that kill here in a minute.
Yeah, I love this part.
I think it's the best kill in the movie because, like, not only does he cut her Achilles, and you get like, oh, it's like the grossest Achilles cut I've ever seen, but he stabs the crap out of her like 10 times, like Rob Zombie Halloween level brutality in this kill. It is.
What she does is like really dumb though. Like when she circles around and goes back to where he is. You knew he was over there. What do you?
Yeah, because even if you can't get out, why would you go back over there? Because you know that he's going to be there. Like, that was definitely, this movie doesn't have too many like cliche dumb horror movie decisions, but yeah, like she was an idiot. Of course, the girl in the original was kind of an idiot too, because I think we talked about this. Like, well, she wasn't an idiot because there was nowhere else to go with that bathroom, but like she walks out and she lets her guard down in the original, like he's gonna be gone or whatever. Like, no, there was nowhere for him to go either. He's gonna be waiting for you. So don't be. Oh, here it comes. I'm gonna see. I'm gonna see if I can watch it without looking away this time. I'm gonna take the challenge. I had to look away a little bit the other day because I knew it was
Ah,
bad, but I forgot how brutal it was. I'm not looking away. So whoever's watching this live stream, I'm not gonna look away this time. I'm gonna watch it in all its glory. You all can. Oh, that's so nasty. Oh my god, that is such good gore.
yeah,
Oh my god. It's like Gage cutting Judd, but times 10 in how
yeah,
brutal it is. Oh my god. And then it ain't even over because like he stabs the crap out of
oh
her.
yeah. And then one of the
Yeah,
few
this is like
shots
raw
that they show
weapon.
him from the other side of the camera, you know.
Yeah. I'm counting them. More. Oh my god, 12 times. He stabbed. Oh, I thought he was gonna go for more. He stabbed her 12 times. I think that is crazy. Yeah, and I love how the camera like goes around and kind of shows him doing it and shows it from different angles. Like the guy who did the cinematography was an absolute master in this
And then how
movie.
about this awesome homage to the original right there? That's the original poster
So,
with him with the
oh, that's
scalp in
right.
his
I didn't
hand,
even.
you know.
How did I not catch that?
You
You're
didn't get
right. I
that?
never noticed that before. That's like the original poster.
That's awesome.
That is awesome. Because yeah, you're right. That is the original poster for 1980 Maniac.
Yep, that's
Man, I can't.
badass.
I don't know. It's hard to say if that kills really good. Where he kills the old woman after he gets her out of the bathtub and like pulls her scalp off. That's a really good kill too. It's
Yeah.
hard. It's hard to pick between those. One thing we haven't
Mhm.
talked about yet is the score in this movie. One of the all-time best horror movie scores that I've ever heard,
Yeah, I really
which
like
I
the
can enjoy
opening.
because I got the movie on silent.
The opening score reminds me of like 80s slashers.
Yeah. Like sometimes I have just listened to some of the songs from this soundtrack because they're so good. It just sets the mood. Like the soundtrack complements this movie, like the soundtrack complements the original Halloween. I don't think it's as good. This movie does the score does for this movie what John Carpenter's score does for the original Halloween. I think like it really helps with like a lot of the scenes.
Yeah, definitely.
You know something else? I never really thought about it. You know, you always notice that all his mannequins are female. I never thought about that until just now. I don't think he has any male mannequins at all. Isn't that interesting?
What's that?
He doesn't have any male mannequins. All his mannequins are female.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Because you would think, like, if that's his business, there's a male mannequins. You go into stores and you see male mannequins all the. He doesn't have any. See, that's cool. I never thought about that before.
Maybe he just fixates on
That's
female
why
mannequins. I don't know.
yeah, it all like ties in. Like, see, this is why you always want to watch movies multiple times. It's like the more you watch stuff, like the more you notice and the more you learn about the movie.
Yeah.
What movie do you think that you've seen the most, and how many times do you think you've seen it? If you had to guess,
Hmm. It's gotta be Halloween.
how many times do you think you watched it in your life?
I can't even imagine. 1,000.
Halloween would definitely be up there
Because I
for
was
me,
really young.
but I love it. Yep, same here. I've been watching horror movies since I was like 5 years old. Like the first horror movies I ever saw were the Friday the 13th movies. So I bet you I've seen Friday 1 through Friday 6. Not exaggerating, probably 30 to 50 times. Not
Hmm.
exaggerating, because I would watch them. That's all I would watch growing up. Because like my mom loved horror movies, but like my mom wasn't like outside the box. Like my mom watched all like the mainstream stuff, like the major franchises like Psycho and Hellraiser, and like the big three and all that. I don't even think I saw any Texas Chainsaw Massacre movies, but the original until like I was in my 20s.
Wow.
But but the like the Halloween movies, the Friday 13th movies, the Elm Street movies, the Chucky movies, Psycho, Hellraiser. I'm trying to think of other stuff I watched. 90s slashers a lot too. So like the Scream movies, like Valentine, Urban Legend. I grew up in the 90s, so we watched a lot of I Know What You Did Last Summer. Those were things I watched all the time growing up.
There he goes. He's gotta spray the mannequins down.
Dang, there's so many
Don't
flies in
talk.
there. It's such a
Shut
good touch.
Here we go with the mother again.
Oh, is this where we get the really messed up? Two guys are. Yep, this is like the most messed up scene in the movie. She's getting ready to get screwed by two guys while she's snorting crack, telling her son to be quiet in the closet. Like this scene is just so messed up. Oh my god!
And she looks at him and like smiles and is like, shh, or whatever.
It's no wonder he turned out the way he did.
No wonder he was messed up.
So, like I said, this is the third topless girl in the movie so far. Third different one. God, that scene is so. That scene. This scene is so messed up. It was at that moment that I understood exactly why Frank turned out to be so fucked up.
Here's that scene you were talking
But that's
about with the mannequin thing.
yeah. It's like if you grew up seeing that kind of stuff all the time, like you would not be normal. You might not be as crazy as him, but like nobody would go through something like that and then be normal. Yeah, Oh my god, that's funny. Turn that light back on, Taylor. Stop.
Yeah, he just didn't have a chance to.
I think it's interesting how like he calls her, but like he doesn't tell her he's right across the street. So like
Yeah.
as he's calling her, he's watching to see what she's doing and stuff. Total
Mhm.
creeper right there.
It's a creep.
It's you. It's you.
They still had flip phones then, I guess.
Yeah, I don't think they definitively say when this movie takes place, but I think the remake was made in 2012.
Right.
So I don't think a lot of people had iPhones back then. Yeah, I don't remember. I think iPhone, they might have like the 3G or whatever, but I don't think a lot of people had iPhones at that point in time.
Mhm. Now everybody has them.
Yeah, for real. Everybody's got one. Hey, I'm grateful. I do everything with my channel on my phone. My filming, my editing. Well, not exactly everything because I still got to use Photoshop a little bit on the computer, but like filming and editing wise, I do everything on my phone.
I actually use my digital camera.
You got good picture quality. I love this too. You always have
Thank
really fun
you.
intros to your videos that always make me laugh.
Yeah, I use a tripod.
Yeah, I got a tripod too.
What the French?
What? Are you coming here to watch this movie?
I mean, I'm sitting here, ain't I?
You're not gonna like it. My wife came in here to watch the movie.
Actually, I came here because I was lonely.
You just missed the part where his mom was doing the two guys and snorting crack and smiling at him and telling him to be quiet in the closet. Yeah, like that. No, I'm not making it up. That happened. I was trying to get you to watch that scene the other day because it's weird.
Can you
I
guess
like how
what
when he's
old
watching the
school horror movie they're watching there?
Broad too, that's what Taylor said.
It's The Cabinet of Dr. Caligari.
Oh, that's right. It's on the thing. I need to see more of like the older horror movies. You would be ashamed. Like I haven't seen like any of the classic horror movies, and when I say
Okay, that's
none,
weird.
none. I've only seen like two black and white horror movies ever. I think Night of the Living Dead and then Psycho. So I definitely need to see more of the classics at some point in time.
Yeah, you
Never
should
seen
go back
it.
and you gotta go back and watch the old Universal monster movies at least.
Yeah, like I got to. Like I feel like I'm not. I can't be a hardcore horror YouTuber if I've never seen a Dracula movie or a Frankenstein movie or anything like that.
Sure
So
can.
shut up, Taylor. My wife watches stuff with me sometimes. She's the one who introduced me to the original Fright Night.
I've introduced you to a lot of
So
stuff. Village of the Damned,
Yep.
Fright Night.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she just doesn't like slashers. Like
Like,
she'll
I
she'll watch
appreciate
other
your
stuff.
taste. Yeah,
She likes like monster movies and some supernatural movies, but she doesn't like to watch
I like
slashers.
stuff like Midsommar, and I like Hereditary, Get Out. I like stuff like that, more like indie films.
She likes a lot of '90s horror too, like the Scream movies and like Valentine and all that.
Well, those are really good movies you mentioned.
I think this is a bitch move here when she like basically asks him to be the third wheel. Hey, come have a drink with me and my boyfriend that I
Yeah.
never told you I had the whole time now. But like if he's just your friend, why are you going into the movie theater with just you and him? Like,
I
no,
know.
you leaving this guy on, girl, and you're gonna die for it later.
Maybe she thinks he's gay.
No, she doesn't think that he's gay. Because she asked him if he had a girlfriend earlier in the movie, and he says no.
Yeah, but she didn't say, do you have a boyfriend?
Oh my god.
It's just weird the angle that they do this film from.
First
Yeah.
person perspective, the whole movie. You only see his face basically when he's looking in. Oh, sweet Taylor, you can still see this scene. You get to see more flashbacks with his lovely. I said, go wait in the car, Taylor.
Awkward.
His mom's doing this guy. It's assumed that like his mom's a prostitute. He tells him to go in the car like several times.
I mean, if you can get money for pleasure, why not?
Like her kid's right there. Like
Poor kid. Look at that poor kid.
I know. And now because of his mom, he always has sexual repression issues. So he kills all these women every time he gets into a sexual situation. He can't handle it.
That's funny because my wife is similar. She doesn't like the gory slashers, but
I don't
she'll
either.
watch like a midsummer kind of movie.
Yes,
Yeah.
I'm the same way. Yep. Wait, is he talking about me or his wife?
His wife.
Yeah.
His wife was talking to me a little bit, I think, on the last stream. Because remember, your wife was in the chat and stuff for a while on the
Yeah.
last stream we did.
Mm-hmm.
It just depends on the movie. Like, I don't know. Midsommar is one of my favorites. Crazy weird.
Midsommar advanced to the Sweet 16.
It deserves.
It got 2 upsets. It
Yeah.
upset in the second round. It beat the original Friday the 13th on my bracket. I forget what it beat in the first round, but it upset. I think it upset the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre in the first round, and everybody was getting triggered about that one.
I couldn't do it. I could not do that.
I mean, it just you're free to like do the bracket as you like, but how I always try to do it is I have my 5-point criteria, and I try to take like nostalgia or like all that stuff out, and just like which movie has the better plot, which movie has the better characters, and then whoever wins wins. So the tournament won't go like you think because like a good movie can lose to another movie if it has a bad matchup to it. That's how the NCAA tournament is. It's a 1-game series, so any team can potentially beat any other team, and then they're out. So,
Well, that's really the way you should do it. But
no, I've agreed. I've agreed with most of yours. You've had pretty good picks. I like to try to predict what you're gonna say before you say it on each one. Like I try to use my knowledge that I know about like watching your channel for a while and guess what you're gonna pick. Usually I'm pretty close to right. I still can't believe you had Child's Play 2 go out so early.
that's because, like I was telling you,
Child's Play
I'm
2
not
is
a
like my 4th
hardcore
favorite movie
Child's
of
Play guy.
Yeah, this is where you see her boyfriend. He's an absolute douche.
He is a
Oh my
douche.
god. It's too bad he didn't get to kill him in this movie.
Yeah.
Because he leaves town or whatever in the last act, so he actually gets to live. But yeah, he's a total douche.
He might have been intimidated by him because kind of, Elias is kind of a small guy.
Yeah. Yeah, I
And
love
this lady's a real bitch too.
that mirrors like when he model into her apartment. Yeah, she's definitely a bitch as well. I love like when he ties her up and he has that monologue. It's like probably his best performance of the movie. Because like he has that monologue, and I can't remember exactly how he words it, but he totally thinks it's his mom. Like he's just like crazy. He's like, "You won't go out tonight. You didn't love those men. Why did you have to be with them all?" And he is just crazy or
He's like,
whatever. Like his monologue is
he's
epic.
like, you can't fool me.
Like I said, it's really hard to pick between her kill and the Achilles kill girl. Like both of the kills are just so good in their own way.
As good as these kills are, though, they do not have a shotgun blast scene.
Yep, that's how I feel. That's how I feel about it too. And then I just think overall, like the effects they use a little bit more practical effects, and for the most part, I think the kills are better in the original. The kills have more of I don't know, like a lot of people might say this movie might be gorier, but the kills have leave more of a lasting impact on me in the original.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
You sealed your fate, lady. Talking smack about his
Yeah,
art.
yeah, she was being super rude. This is supposed to be like the model kill in the original with
Yeah.
the cuss up and stuff too, but it doesn't play out quite the
Mhm.
same way. And I like that they have like an older woman that looks more like his mom. I thought that was an interesting touch because the woman was younger in the original that dies in this way.
Yeah.
I'm turning my volume on when we get to the monologue. I can't go without the audio in that score, so we're gonna get some dialogue here in a minute.
Because that's the thing, he really believes he's an artist in his mind.
Did he steal her keys at some point in time?
He must have.
I didn't catch that either. I'm catching all kinds of things I didn't catch the other day. Because in the original, he put gum on the door so he could get in, but he just walked up and unlocked the door. I don't. But then, how did she get in if she didn't have her keys? Like, I don't. I don't know. I'll have to go back and think about it.
Nice butt shot.
Yeah, it's like every girl that he kills, we have to show nude in this movie. Plus his mom too. Now they don't show frontal nudity for her. I don't think. Like I think you
No.
just see her now, and then when she's tied up, I don't think they ever show her boobs at any point in time. Nobody wants to see that anyway. She's old.
Hey, a butt is a butt. I can say that because I work in a gastro office and I look at butts all day. Butt is a butt.
Butts
Well,
a
you're
butt.
about to see
They
this.
all look the same.
And then she couldn't reach her wine glass, so he scooted it over a little bit so she could reach
Who
it.
is this lady? You know her?
It's like the what the agent for the woman that he likes. She was shit talking his paintings, and he follows her home. She looks exactly like his mom, just with like blonde hair or whatever. So
Is this the one he strangled in the bed?
where you walked off.
Yeah.
But yeah, you need to see this kill because it's arguably the best moment. Really, this is where Elijah Wood gives like his best performance in the movie.
Yeah. Welcome, Heartbreaker in the house.
Hey, Colton.
Heartbreaker loves this movie.
John, do you know David Sheehan?
What did you drown her for?
I didn't know if there's someone he didn't know. He just needed her unconscious so he could. Oh, here we go. I'm turning the volume on, so you'll have to deal with my all the viewers should hear this anyway.
Okay, I felt sympathy for Norman Bates. I don't feel sympathy for this guy at all. He's just a priest.
Why do you act like I don't exist?
This is such a good scene. Everybody just needs to be listening to.
I never wanted to hurt you. You made me. Didn't you? Yes. Yes, you did. Did you need to be with all of them? Huh? Did you? Was it the money? Answer me!
She can't answer you.
It's crazy scene.
Yeah, I don't like
They
him
didn't
at
love
all.
you.
Like, his movie makes me cringe. I can't stand Elijah Wood anyway. Now, really,
I like that.
Look at photo.
Not like me. Still love you. You know that?
Cringe. Like, what?
I'm not gonna kill you. I'm gonna keep you.
Ah. Ah. Funny shot.
Not go out tonight. Is that clear? You will stay home with
You will not go home out tonight. You're gonna stay home with me. Oh my god. Such a good scene. Yeah, Colton, I just turned the movie on for that one part. I turned my volume off now.
That's yeah. There he goes with the little hands.
Yeah, that scene was awesome earlier when he was using the Brillo pad and like making himself bleed. Then he imagined like mannequin hands. What do you think, Sean? What's the best kill in this movie? It's hard to pick.
I'd say that one.
Yeah. I think all the kills are really good, honestly. The only kill that I don't love is the opening kill. I don't know. The opening kill just looks a little bit on the CG side to me when she gets the knife shoved up, and then when she gets cut,
Yeah,
like I don't know. The opening kill's a little CG, but all the other ones look great.
it probably is CGI.
And like you said, unfortunately, we don't get to see a head explosion in this movie like we do
Yeah.
in the original.
See, here's one of the few shots from the other side of the camera.
Yeah, I feel like I love the first person, but I feel like they should have mixed in like some third person,
Yeah.
as well. Kind of like they did the original. I feel like they almost used the first person a little bit too much. Like it gets a little disorienting. Like kind of like when you're watching a found footage movie sometimes. Like you see how little boy mannequin that looked like himself. Did you see that?
Yeah. Here's where stuff really goes bad.
Yeah. I feel like what he says isn't that much of a giveaway though, because he's like, uh, she was killed by the guy who killed all the other women, but like that would be something that was like on the news or whatever. So I don't know. But he also does say, "Oh, she was only walking 3 blocks." So then when he says that, that's kind of the giveaway there.
True.
But it's a good moment. That moment when she realizes that she's in the room with the killer.
Yeah.
And you notice how they have some dark humor? That the guy says he was in a Sparkles like toothpaste commercial, and then he gets like the meat cleaver to the mouth later. I thought
Yeah.
that was really clever as well. Some nice dark humor there.
Mhm. And then he's still alive after that.
Yeah, I think they show him dead on the floor eventually, though. He throws him through the bathroom door, and I think he does eventually die.
Yeah.
That'd be brutal. That'd be a terrible way to go.
Oh,
Slow and painful death right there.
getting a hatch to
Kind of
the
like in
face.
Brightburn when the guys. You've seen Brightburn, haven't you?
I haven't seen that yet.
Okay. Well, I'm not gonna say anything because there's a kill that's sort of like that in that movie. You need to see Brightburn. It's good. Taylor really liked it.
Yeah.
You wouldn't think a evil Superman story would work, but it works. It's good. It was one of my favorite movies of last year. Nobody will be able to make a top 10 movies of 2020 list if this corona sorted out soon. Everything's just getting canceled. I will die if Halloween gets pushed. If something happens with
I
Halloween
don't know.
Kills, I will literally cry. I will cry that
You will
day.
cry.
I've been looking forward to it so much.
Me too, obviously. I don't know, man. I'm worried.
Hey, John Kyle, what's up? Got 80s horror fan in the house. We're watching the Maniac remake. John Kyle, have you seen this movie?
Welcome, sir. Welcome, 80s horror fan. He kind of catches her at a weak point here. I think that's the only reason she kind of responds a little.
He says that he wouldn't have hurt her, but I think he still would have killed her. Because I think if things would have gotten more sexual, then he would have flipped and he would have killed her. Oh, John Kyle, you got to see this one. I think I might like the original more, but this movie's like the best remake out there, and it's a lot different than the original, so you won't be able to predict everything that happens unless you go by live stream, then you're gonna know everything that happens.
Yeah, maybe wait till after to watch the stream.
Yeah, don't watch the rest of the stream until you've seen the the remake. But yeah, I would highly recommend this one to anybody. This is like a must watch remake.
Absolutely.
This is by far her best acting in the movie.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, John Kyle, The Thing. We were talking about it earlier. It's an amazing remake. Amazing John Carpenter movie. Amazing everything.
But believe it or not, this is right up there, man.
Yeah, It's right up there.
Highly recommend it.
Yeah, like even though I probably do prefer the original, and we'll talk more about it when the movie's over, just because I prefer the original doesn't mean that the remake isn't still amazing, too. It's just the original's my favorite standalone slasher of all time.
Me too. I said,
We said that before. Like, I love, and Maniac never gets old. Like, literally, Maniac gets better for me every time that I watch it. Don't
no,
bring Thanksgiving into this, John. We're not talking
Oh,
about
boy.
Thanksgiving
I
right
actually
now.
gave it the time of day and it was regret.
Taylor asked to watch it the other day, and me and Taylor watched Thanksgiving in its entirety the
oh
other
my
day, and
god.
Taylor enjoyed it.
Oh, you got it right in the oof. Goes right through the table. Shit's
Now,
going down.
I must say this as this is going on. The ending of this movie destroys the ending of the original for me because, like, the ending of the original, because, like, she goes to the graveyard, she figures out who he is, he chases her for a second, and she runs away, never to be seen again. He goes back to his apartment, and then he just dies. He hallucinates what happens, and then the police show they don't even check his vital signs to confirm he's dead and they just leave. Like this one, it's so much better executed because you have this long drawn out fight between him and her, and they're definitive about like how the zombie women killed him and what happened to him. Like the ending is very decisive in this movie. So I think this was an absolutely awesome ending. Oh, here's where the sparkle guy gets killed here in a
Yeah.
second.
Oh.
Taylor, look, watch.
That's brutal.
Look up here. You're gonna miss it.
What about it?
It's a good kill. Look at that. Whatever, Taylor. Whatever.
Well, I would say I do love the part where he hallucinates in the original, which they pretty much take in this movie.
Yes, but what I don't like is that like it does show that he imagined it and he's dead. But stupid moment where the cops come in, they don't check his body, and it ends with the evil is still alive ending. Like I don't like how the original ends, but like this movie takes a lot from the original movie's ending, but adds to it a little bit.
Yeah,
But
true.
yeah, the effects when Frank gets torn apart are really amazing in both versions.
In both, yeah.
Because they didn't really do it looked pretty practical. I'll have to watch again, but in this one it looked like they used practical effects. It didn't look like CGI. I'll have to pay attention when it happens again.
I will agree though, they have a final battle here as where they didn't in the original, so that was a good point.
I mean, it was cool. The girl lived in the original. I didn't have a problem with that. But like their fight was like so anticlimactic in the original. She gets away like super easily, and then in this
Yeah,
one, I like that they they don't do their fight different. There's no graveyard scene. There's none of that, and they actually kill her off this time. So
yeah.
I thought that was cool. It's really dark, but I dig a really dark ending.
Although technically it's Crash that killed her pretty much.
Yeah, yeah, because yeah, technically he didn't kill her. Well, they run him over, which leads to them, and that's where she dies. So in a weird way, like he did kill her, but not directly. Yeah,
Right, not directly.
and then he still scalps her too, like as she's dying.
Yeah.
So that's
Hmm.
then she's waiting and she stabs him with his mannequin hand here.
What a way to go with his own mannequin. Like, how the hell is he not
Ugh.
bleeding to death, you know?
I mean, he basically does because that's pretty much what kills. And he gets hit by the car in a minute too. So
Right.
that's like the wounds that kill him, but he hallucinates that it's the girls ripping him apart, which is how it went in the original, as well explained in the original.
True.
But like in the original, he stabs himself with like his bayonet or whatever. Because in the original, she just hit him with the shovel in the shoulder and cut him, or something like that. What's wrong with you?
Boom.
Yeah, here it comes.
What in God's name is she wearing?
He attacked her in her apartment in the middle of the night and put her in his
Did they run
van.
over him?
Yeah, but look.
She just fly out
Yeah,
the car?
she just flew out of the windshield.
What the heck just happened? Did she hijack the car?
No, this guy picked her up and ran him over. Then their car crashed, and both of them basically died. She flew out the windshield. She didn't have a seatbelt on.
Isn't that ironic?
This is the Taylor Schwartz driving moment of the movie.
You're awful.
In the original, they don't look girl, but in this one, they do.
Why did they kill her?
What's wrong with the dark ending? There's nothing wrong with it.
You kind of, well, like you said, she wasn't quite as likable, so I didn't feel quite as bad like
Yeah,
the original.
yeah. Like it doesn't hit. Like I feel like that was kind of where they missed their execution a little bit because if they would have made her more likable, this ending would have hit even more, like emotionally, and would have made it even better.
Like, this should be really sad when you see her face, you know, about to die.
He always does that to his victims.
Every
Every woman he kills, he cuts off their scalp, goes back to his apartment, puts their clothes and their scalp on a mannequin, and then he hallucinates. Look, like he hallucinates that the mannequin's the girl because he's crazy. That's how the original was too. Like, look, he's proposing to the mannequin with like the girl's hair on it. So he cray.
You cray.
That's the dating pool.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
If you weren't with me, that'd be the dating pool right now, Taylor.
He's not too tightly wrapped.
Yeah. So like you put, and then there's her scalp, and you'll see the scalps of. Yeah, I'm glad you're watching the ending. It's really crazy.
I like when they
God, I
show
love
all the
the ending so
girls
much.
talking to him too, like, and
Yeah.
the one girl talking has no, you can see her brain and stuff.
This is the time where like it kind of copies the original, but I don't mind it because like they take the original ending and they execute it flawlessly for
Yeah,
me. Like I think the ending of this one is just it's perfect. Like it's
it
so
really
good
is.
because it's karma. He gets what's coming to him.
Yep, gets his just desserts.
They're mannequins, but he's imagining that they're all the girls he's killed in the movie.
They've come back to haunt him.
Yes, like, and he dies in a way that like shows his craziness too.
Hmm.
It's just awesome.
It's a cool shot
And they
too
all
when they
have
show
So how
that.
does he die actually?
he has a wound in his stomach and he got hit by the car, so he's basically going to bleed out. But in his mind, that's not what actually happens. You'll see in a minute, like what he imagines is really cool, and it's gonna.
Are these all the people?
Yeah, these are like all the girls that he's killed in the movie. He technically killed that one neighbor guy too, but these are all the girls that he's killed and scalped in the movie. Oh, he's brought his bride home for her for their honeymoon. There's all oh, this is so good.
You've got the body and I've got the brains.
But like Freddy Part 2, I know.
Oh man,
Brace yourself, Taylor.
it's brutal. I don't think your wife's gonna like this part.
Yeah, I don't think my wife's gonna like this either.
Oh, all right.
Good, he deserves to die.
I know that's why it's a
Pulling his intestines out.
yeah.
They make drugs for this.
I forgot how
It's
brutal
like
it was.
it's like a dead zombie kill or something. It's what it's like.
What is wrong with people?
Oh man, ripped his face right off.
That's cool.
He's
It
like,
is. You bet your ass it's cool.
look at his face though. He's like,
He's crazy. God, that ending is so
It's
awesome.
such a weird movie.
You don't have two cops in regular clothes that go in the door like, oh, he must be dead, and
yeah,
then
that was
leave.
dumb.
Like they're in full like SWAT gear. Like it's so much better executed than the original ending.
So did they find him and knew he was the killer or something?
I don't know how they would have known, but yeah, because in the original, the girl survives and she tells the police, and they go to his apartment. But yeah, I don't know how the police would know to go there because everybody he had ran into died, so I'm not sure. But saying that he went into his closet that his mom would always make him go into when she was doing all the guys and stuff, and then he dies from like his wounds from the crash and her stabbing him in the stomach and all that.
And
And
there
see,
you
it's
have it,
definitive.
folks. There you have it.
Whew, so good. That movie gets better for me with every watch.
Yeah, I agree.
So let's do an original versus remake real quick, like I do on my channel. So plot and story. Which one do you think has like the better story?
Hmm. I would have to agree with you on that. I think the story is a little bit more fleshed out in the remake.
Yeah, it's hard to decide because they flesh the story out, but the original came first. So like the original inspired the story. Plus I like the third person over the first person. So I think like plot and story wise, it'd be really close. And I almost want to call it a tie, but I think I'm gonna go with the original because it came first there. But they're both really good though.
Wow, I'm surprised.
Well, I mean, like I said, they're both A's for me, so like it's nitpicking with stuff. What about acting wise? For me, I think it's definitely the original. Elijah Wood was really good, but I liked Frank in the original, and I liked the girl a lot better in
Yeah,
the original.
I
And I
agree.
just thought the supporting cast, like I just thought the supporting characters were just a little bit better in the original.
Yep, I
So
have to agree with that. I think as far as Frank, um, it's pretty even though.
They both bring a lot of different things to the role, so they're both really good.
Yeah,
Kills Gore effects, I would go with the original because it's got the Tom Savini head explosion in it, and all the other kills are really good too.
totally.
Said I hate that I have to pick though because they're both so good, you know.
Yeah. But yeah, I would give the original the
Rewatchability,
gore factor.
yeah. Rewatchability, I'm gonna just call it a tie because I can rewatch either one of them anytime. They're both really rewatchable. I cannot pick which one is more rewatchable. They both have a nice solid 1 hour, 30-minute time, and they're both never boring at all.
Right, they're both well paced.
And the remake doesn't follow the original too closely, so it's really rewatchable in that way too.
Yeah. Again,
And
I
then
agree.
ending, like I said, ending, I'm going with the remake.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah, I guess. That's tough for me.
Not that the originals, like I said, it's just nitpicking because they're both A+ movies. It's like
Mm,
the March Madness tournament. You have to pick a winner. Like it's sometimes it's really hard. How that is from when you had to pick some of those matchups on your bracket. When two movies face
yeah,
off,
I
you
know.
have to pick a winner. So I think the original's
A couple of them
better,
almost killed
but
me there.
that. So do you prefer the original as well
Overall,
of this movie? Yeah.
yeah, but very close.
God, it's so close. It can almost go either way on like every category because I don't really have any flaws for either movie. I don't love the ending of the original Maniac, but I don't hate it either. Like it's still good. They just made a couple tiny like they did a couple tiny things with the original last act that I don't love, like the girl just getting away and not having much of a final fight, and then the him opening his eyes at the end felt a little bit tacked on and kind of messed, especially when the police just leave really easily. Like there's a couple small issues I have with the original ending, but it's still really good though.
I think I say the original because raw and gritty, and it shows the sleazy side of the city.
Yeah, like I feel like it doesn't have as much of like a polished type of feel to it. It has like that 80s grit where like it feels like you're seeing like the dirty part of New York, like you said. I agree. I agree with that.
And it's just an 80s slasher through and through in every way, you know?
You put me in a corner, I'm really always going to go with the 80s movie pretty much. 80s
Yeah.
is my favorite decade for horror, so I'm always going to lean towards the 80s. Which in my last four teams in the March Madness tournament, 3 out of the four movies are from the 80s. So
I'll say
you'll get to the end
the
of
hardest round for me, was Silence of the Lambs versus Halloween 2. I was like, "Oh my," like, for the average person, that's probably easy, but for me, that was like a killer, you know?
when me and my brother set up the bracket, like how what me and my brother basically did is we wrote down a list of all the movies we wanted to put in, and we tried to limit ourselves to not too many from the same franchise, and we tried to make sure we put in a diverse time period. Like we tried to make sure we put in movies from like the 70s, the 80s, the 90s, the 2000s, different types like supernatural monster movies, like different types of movies. But sometimes, like, once we seeded them, a lot of the really good movies got easy first round matchups, but then we try to do some interesting stuff, like having Silence of the Lambs versus Halloween 2. It's a really weird comparison because it's like the smart like award-winning movie versus the really fun 80s slasher. And
Yeah.
I picked Halloween 2 as well. I don't know if you've seen that part on mine yet, but I picked I think it might actually come out tomorrow, but I picked Halloween 2 as well in that matchup because I'm always going to look towards the 80s slasher, because for me it's not always about like what's like the most intelligent like best movie. It's like what's the most fun movie, because I
Yeah.
like pacing. I like more than I like anything else. So I'm always going to lean towards the movies that have really good visual effects and have are just really rewatchable and have really good pacing.
Well, I think you did have a really good pick for movies. I was very happy with that. The choices that you made.
Yeah, like I said, we try to have a really good balance. I feel like my rule was I had to own it and have it on my shelf, and then we tried to include, because like I also couldn't pick a movie if Josh hadn't seen it yet. My brother hasn't seen quite as many movies as me, so I
Mhm.
tried to pick movies that he had seen, and me and him literally talked about the whole bracket. So like I already know what all the outcomes are. I've known from the beginning. I just haven't told people. So like everything on the bracket, me and my brother had to agree on a matchup before we moved on. So like me and my brother would say, okay, which one do you think wins this round? And he would say, and if me and him didn't have the same one right off, we would talk about it until we came to a consensus. So my bro, like Midsommar beating Texas Chainsaw Massacre, he agreed with me on that. Like we talked about it, we both agreed on that one. Like any of the upsets, it seems like me and him agree on. But me and my brother have pretty much really similar tastes, so we see eye to eye. There were a couple matchups we really had to debate about, and you'll see when you watch my videos as the tournament goes on, because I don't think you'll be able to predict which movie is going to win. I don't think. Like, because I didn't even think this movie was going to win before the tournament started. But once we got into the matchups and I was talking with my brother, I was like, yeah, you're right, So it's going to be fun.
That was a heartbreaker for me. Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the original versus Midsummer.
I had some crazy ones. I did my round two, part one yesterday. It won't come out till next week though. And one I had to pick Black Christmas versus the original Psycho. It
Yeah,
was, oh my God,
that's
that
tough.
was a really hard. There's another one I had to pick that was just really brutally hard as
Mhm.
well. But once you get later into the tournament, it gets to be like some really, really
Yeah,
interesting matchups.
yeah, it's a lot of fun. I mean, I had a great time with it.
Definitely.
I'm really, you got me excited thinking about next year, even with with the slashers.
Yep, I've already been thinking of it. I'm gonna do it like every year in March, and it's gonna be really fun. Now, when I get down to the last four teams, I've already planned out my upload schedule for the. When I get to the last four movies, I'm actually gonna do the semifinals in two videos and the finals in one video, and I'm going to do like I do for the original versus remakes, and it's going to be a long video, and I'm going to put clips and everything in there too. So I'm really going to put a lot of effort into my editing for like the last couple rounds. I think I'm going to even do a trailer for it too. Like I'm going to edit a trailer for like the final four. It's gonna be really cool. I've been thinking about all the fun stuff I was going to do with it.
Yeah, so that's what I was saying. Probably get more in depth on these last couple of rounds for sure.
Well, it's hard because like to pace myself, I've had to do like 8 matches for a while. So
Mhm.
like even when I'm being quick, I have had like 20-minute videos still. If I'm talking about 8 matchups in a round, and you've been doing about the same too. When you only have two matchups in the next to last round and one matchup in the last round, you can talk a lot more in depth about
Right.
them. So I'm looking forward to seeing what wins for you enough to have it already, but it'll still be fun to hear your rationality and all that.
I'll get into it.
What else do you got coming up as far as like reviews and stuff?
uh, uh, I have a lot that I want to do, but I don't really have it planned out.
You've seen the
I
Wishmaster movies,
definitely
haven't you?
want to do you want to, and I've been wanting to do John Carpenter's Prince of Darkness.
I still need to see that. You
Yeah.
definitely need to see Midsommar. It's amazing.
Oh, I've seen it. I haven't reviewed it yet.
Hey, it made my Sweet 16. It won two rounds in the tournament. So it has to go up against Jaws in the third round.
Oh
Go
my
too good
god,
for
Jaws.
Jaws is like one of my favorite movies of all time.
I mean, who doesn't love it?
Didn't it end up being Jaws versus Halloween, and then Halloween won for you?
Yeah.
See, that's going to be where it's going to get to eventually for me. I've got to pick, but I mean, obviously, I'm going to go with Halloween, but debating Halloween versus Jaws is like a really hard debate to have because they're just two of like the best movies that are out there.
Yeah, of course it's hard.
Yeah, there'll be some really fun matchups coming up. But I'm doing the Wishmaster franchise as my horror franchise. It's gonna be fun to read movies. I got the new Blu-ray set, so it's nice to watch them on good transfers.
I gotta get that. I do enjoy those.
You gotta buy it. It's four Blu-rays for like $15 is all that it's going for, and it's Vestron. Vestron's a good company. They have like their Chopping Mall Blu-ray, and it's really good. They have a Return of the Living Dead 3 Blu-ray that's really good, but I haven't bought it yet. It's on my list to get though.
I gotta get that too. I really like part three, Return of the Living Dead.
Yes, yes. Uh, you've seen April Fool's Day, haven't you?
Of course.
Are you getting the Scream Factory for that?
I'd like to, yeah. One of the many
I
list
got it
list
coming.
of the
I got
many
it coming
movies
in the
I need to
mail.
get.
It's going to be here on Sunday, so I might do a live stream on the first for it. I
Yeah.
think that would be fun. Do an April Fool's Day live stream on the first. That would be cool.
Oh, on April 1st, yeah.
I wanted to do a Leprechaun one on St. Patrick's Day, but it didn't quite work out that way. But since I'm off so much for the coronavirus, it'd be the
Yeah.
perfect time. Do a stream on the first. That'd be fun. I'm also doing with Aaron from Aussie Movies. I think on Tuesday this week coming up, we're doing top 5 favorite Stephen King movies. So that stream's gonna be really fun too.
Oh, cool.
And then soon, didn't you say you really liked Nightmare on Elm Street 4?
I do, yes.
Well, I have to try to work out the details. I want to do a stream on that one soon and get a lot of people that really like Nightmare on Elm Street for like a live stream defending the movie. So, like, I'm gonna sit down when I have the time, and I'm gonna watch. I'm deciding I'm gonna do. I'm gonna watch part 3, part 4, and part 5 back to back, and I'm gonna have my paper, and I'm gonna count like Freddy one-liners and like cringy Freddy moments. Like I've always had this theory from watching them, but I've never actually counted and found out that I don't think that like Freddy is as jokey in part 4 compared to part 3 is like what people say. Like I think Freddy has about
Yeah.
the same amount of one-liners in part 4 that he does in part 3. But I think what people do is people confuse part 4 with part 5. And
Yeah.
then that's
Yes.
where Freddy gets really crazy because like every time Freddy does a kill scene, he does like 5 one-liners in every kill scene. Like when he kills Dan in part 5, he makes like 5 one-liners in that one kill scene. Like, and Five's got some really campy stuff with the feeding one and the Super Freddy and the comic book and all that stuff. The
I said
baby
that in my
Freddy,
last
it's
video that I felt
hilarious.
he didn't get to be too much until part 5. To me, that's where it goes over the top, you know.
I definitely agree. And then see, people always say part 4, so I want to actually run the numbers on that and see. Because like I feel like part 4 might be like the most unfairly criticized movie, you know, from like the major franchises. Because a lot of people are always like Nightmare on Elm Street 4 is bad, but I think it's a really good movie. Like it's like my third favorite Elm Street movie after the first and the third one.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of good stuff in there, man. I love the dream sequences, especially like I loved like the recurring dream scene, like when she's in the movie theater and stuff
Don't
keeps
forget the
repeating.
the cockroach motel, and then where he sucks the air out of the girl, the waterbed kill, the junkyard thing with Kincaid at the beginning. The only kill that sucks in that movie is the karate kill. People always criticize that one. I gotta admit that kill sucks because I think I heard they ran out of money or something. They had to just shoot like it's bad. It's really bad, but I mean every other kill in that movie is really good, and the characters are all really good and likable in that movie. I don't like how
Wanna
they
suck
recast
face.
with "Wanna suck face, you flunk." The one-liners are so good. How's this for a wet dream?
You can check in, but you can't check out.
And then that one part where he stresses the dog, he's like, "What ain't Dr. Seuss?"
Well, what a surprise!
Oh
The
my
late
god.
horror show is a little late to the party.
He's definitely late today because we're actually wrapping up. We just watched and talked about the Maniac remake, and we had a lot of fun doing that. Now we're just talking about Nightmare on Elm Street 4 because I got a live stream I'm gonna do on that soon. It's gonna be really fun.
Thanks for joining us anyway, Dino. But yeah, I'm down for that. If you wanted to do a stream on Elm Street 4, yeah, I'll defend it.
And I'll have probably multiple people in there. It just depends who I can get. No haters allowed though.
No
So
haters allowed.
I've got a pre No, I'm gonna go really in depth though, so like I'm gonna make notes and stuff. I'm also gonna go back and reviews on YouTube, even though I know the negatives on that movie, but I'm gonna watch some reviews and then figure out the negatives that people have and try to counter them. So I think it's gonna be just I've been wanting to do it for a while. I just haven't gotten around to it. So it's gonna be really fun. I'm looking forward to doing that one a lot.
Uh, I also love the score in part 4, you know, the
Yeah.
running from this nightmare.
Then they got a couple other good songs. The Anything song when they're doing those good too. It has a good. It's not
Yeah,
as good of a soundtrack as part 3, but a good soundtrack.
yeah.
Rennie Harlan's a good director. He did some other movies that I like too. Can't remember what all he's done, but I know he's done other movies that I've watched and that I enjoy.
Definitely.
You want to go ahead and wrap this up?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, so we'll talk about that, you know, when you wanna do the Elm Street one.
Yeah, because it might be. I was thinking next week, but I might do the week after next, especially if I'm streaming on Tuesday with Aaron, and then if I do one on Wednesday because it's April the 1st. I don't need to be streaming probably 3 days in 1 week, so it might be the week after that. But either way, I'm gonna let you know, and we can work out the details for that.
All right, sounds good, man.
Okay. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. It's been fun talking the Maniac remake with everybody.
Definitely highly recommend Maniac 2012.
Definitely. Must watch if you haven't seen it. It's one of the best remakes out there.
Absolutely. All right, man. So
Right, so I'm
everyone
gonna
have a good
get
night
off
and thank you
here.
for joining us here for the Maniac live stream. And we will see you next time. Peace out, everybody.
Good night, everyone. Bye, everybody.
Have a great night.